The town of Stenay, nestled in northeastern France, has long been a place of history and mystery. But in the 18th century, its peaceful existence was shattered by a terror unlike any other. A relentless wave of wolf attacks that left the town in fear and desperation. During this period, France was no stranger to deadly wolf encounters. Harsh winters, war-torn landscapes, and food shortages had driven wolves closer to human settlements, making them bolder and more dangerous. The people of Stenay, like many rural communities, depended on their livestock and farmlands for survival. But soon, they found themselves in the grip of a nightmarish battle against an enemy they could not control.
At first, the attacks were sporadic. Livestock vanished, carcasses were found mutilated in the fields, and eerie howls filled the night. But as winter deepened, the wolves grew bolder. They no longer feared the boundaries of human settlements. Farmers returning home after dark were ambushed, children playing near the outskirts of the village were snatched away, and entire families locked themselves indoors, fearing what lurked beyond their doors. These were not ordinary wolves. Reports described them as unusually large, cunning, and fearless. Unlike typical wolf packs that avoided human contact, the wolves of Stenay seemed to hunt with a terrifying intelligence, striking in broad daylight and working together to corner their prey. The attacks became so frequent that people avoided traveling alone, and even armed patrols struggled to drive the beasts away.
As the death toll rose, panic set in. The local authorities, desperate for a solution, organized hunts to track and kill the wolves. Skilled hunters and soldiers were called upon, and armed villagers patrolled the roads. Traps were laid, and bounties were placed on wolf pelts. Yet the wolves of Stenay proved elusive. They moved like shadows, disappearing into the dense forests, only to return when least expected. Some villagers believed that these were no ordinary wolves, but creatures of darkness, perhaps supernatural beings or wolves possessed by malevolent spirits. Superstition mixed with fear, and legends began to form around the wolves of Stenay, adding an air of mystery to an already terrifying reality.
After months of relentless attacks, the efforts of the hunters and villagers finally paid off. Many of the wolves were slain, their bodies displayed as proof that the nightmare was over. Gradually, the attacks diminished, and life in Stenay returned to a fragile normalcy. But the scars remained, both physical and psychological. The town had been forever changed by its ordeal, and the legend of the wolves of Stenay endured, passed down through generations. Even today, whispers of the infamous wolves linger in the region. Were they simply desperate animals pushed to the brink by hunger, or was there something more sinister at play? The mystery remains unsolved, but one thing is certain: those who lived through the terror never forgot the beasts that once haunted their town.
The story of the wolves of Stenay is a chilling reminder of a time when nature and civilization collided in the most brutal of ways. It stands as both a historical account and a legend, a tale of survival against a relentless force that defied human control. Whether seen as a tragedy, a supernatural mystery, or a cautionary tale, the wolves of Stenay remain one of the most haunting stories in French folklore.
Though centuries have passed, the legend of the wolves of Stenay continues to send shivers down the spine of those who hear it. A story of fear, resilience, and the thin line between civilization and the wild. It reminds us that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones that roam just beyond the edge of the firelight.